Okay, where I'm standing is the highest point on my property. It's also in one of the corners. So as each fire break goes off at right angles, they're both leading downhill. We're going to randomly go this way to our first swale. Now because a sill has to be hard and the fire track has to be hard, it makes sense to put the sill on the fire track. So here's our sill. It's on a slight downwards angle to push the water towards the swale, which then becomes level. So we head along the first swale. This is the shortest one, obviously, because it's up in the topmost corner. Now this dead sticks that you see to either side are the infamous Dryandra that are going extinct in my area due to climate change. I need to replace those with most likely acacias, which can survive almost anything and fix nitrogen. And we come up to the other fire track that led, the one that I didn't choose to go down. Just up there is where we started, and we head down this fire track to our next swale. Again, the sill's on a bit of an angle, diverting the water down into the second longer swale. Now this started off as one shovel width wide and one bite deep. I just threw it to the low side and pushed it through. And the next year I just did another shovel bite next to it, so it's now 2 shovel widths wide. It's probably time to clean all the sticks and leaves out of here, throw them on the downside where they'll assist the trees to get some fertility. Now this here is where Jeff Lawton explains if you run into an obstacle, you can go down and high or up and low. I chose to go up and low, around the obstacle and back on contour again. And there's a bit of a slalom through some boulders that just don't end. So just going deep on the high, shallow on the low, keeping it all level. And leaves naturally gravitate, pun intended, to the bottom of the swale. We come out on the same track that we chose the first time, and we head down to the third swale, which is still in progress. Now all of these swales are in zone 5, they're in my wild area. The only work I'm doing in the wild area is to put these swales into focus water into the centre of the property, where it's going to trickle down into my gardens. So we head through here. This is the third swale, incomplete. And as you can see, we have pegs which mark the rest of the journey. And just to show what a low priority this swale was, the pegs end here because they were cannibalised for other jobs. However, if we keep going down a bit further, we'll once again meet up with the pegs. So they've been sitting here for a few years now, and I simply just keep going with one shovel bite when I want to pick up the job again. And again, we're going to the downside this time, around a tree that's not going to be easy to move and probably just going to stay there. keep following the pegs. Until we get to the machine that does all this. The farmer's A-frame. It's just some fence palings bolted together. This is parallel with the ground, and all you do is you put a spirit level. I clamp a spirit level onto the top here and shuffle it around until the spirit level's level. The traditional way is to hold a string down with a line. That just seems awful compared to a $5 spirit level. And if you take 2 steps between each peg, any minor inaccuracies will cancel themselves out on the second step. Quite easy to make up, and of course you calibrate it on a level surface. And that is my swale tail.